relationships can find a place to land in my heart and in your heart. Then that makes the pain and the difficult circumstances of life fruitful. I invite you to dance with me. God, help us to respond to your love with such abandon that we are free to embrace whatever you desire for us. This is the prayer of our hearts. Amen.
What a blessing to have Ann Smith as part of our AU community. We don't have in the Church of God tradition that founded the AU, we don't have saints, but I think Ann is about as close as we have to an informal saint, and we just give her thanks for that message. Well, now it's my pleasure to virtually introduce our speaker for this commencement, our good friend Congresswoman Susan Brooks. A Fort Wayne native, Congresswoman Brooks received her undergraduate degree from Miami University of Ohio before receiving her Juris Doctor degree from Indiana University Robert McKinney School of Law. She went on to practice law in Indianapolis for several years and eventually was appointed by then-President George W. Bush as the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana in 2001, right before the events of 9/11. Serving as the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer for over half of the Hoosier State until 2007, she received bipartisan acclaim for her efforts to battle mortgage fraud, gun violence, drug trafficking, gangs, child exploitation, identity theft, and terrorism. She was elected to Congress in 2012 for Indiana's 5th Congressional District, which of course includes us here in Anderson, and she's done an extraordinary job of representing all Hoosiers in the 5th District. She's resigning from Congress effective January of 2021, in several months here. Because she embodies our core values that I mentioned earlier, we are awarding her an honorary Doctor of Law degrees. She's a faithful supporter and friend of the university, and I look forward to the message she'll bring to our graduates and their families. So ladies and gentlemen, I virtually welcome Congresswoman Susan Brooks. Please join me.
Good afternoon, and to the Anderson University class of 2020, congratulations. Thank you for the opportunity to share in your special day, and a special thank you to my friend, Anderson University President and Alumni John Pistol. I've known President Pistol, or PJP as you know him, for many years. You couldn't ask for a kinder man or a person more committed to this school and your continued success. I'm honored to be a part of it and to accept this honorary degree. Today looks very different than we all expected. I'm not talking to you during your graduation in May or in Anderson on campus for a start. But there are 3 things about today's celebration that have not and will not change. Number 1, you are college graduates, excited, and yes, maybe a little nervous about your next adventure. Number 2, you have wonderful memories of your years as Ravens and strong friendships to keep those memories alive. And number 3, who helped you get here today, your parents and families, the faculty and staff at Anderson University, President Pistol, your pastor, your coaches, your favorite teacher in high school, your study group, and the list goes on. And each of them are very proud of you, as am I. But many things have and will continue to change, especially right now. A global pandemic is quite a curveball, but it's probably not your first. You worked hard to get here, to be admitted to this university, and to complete your degree. Along your way, there were probably other moments that didn't quite go according to plan. Now, maybe not on a global scale, but you know what I mean. And despite those setbacks, you're here today, diploma in hand and already several months into the next chapter of your lives. But if you'll permit me to offer a few pieces of advice as you begin your professional journey. My first piece of advice ties into the job market you face out there. On January 30th, as you began your last semester, the Wall Street Journal ran a story headlined, "U.S. Economy heads into the 2020 year with steady growth. Unemployment was at 3.6%. But in the last 6 months, due to COVID-19, jobless claims have skyrocketed as many people have been laid off or furloughed. People who are still working may be doing so from their living rooms, while they also supervise remote school for their kids, or they're reporting to work mask in hand with careful efforts to maintain distance from their colleagues and or their customers. These are fundamental changes in how we do business. But there are also big shifts happening in our culture and sadly growing rifts in the fabric of our country. The death of George Floyd ignited a movement. We know that change must happen in our country to make good on our founding fathers' promises that all men, all people, are created equal and that our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness must be protected. How we do that is a matter of great debate. It's playing out in our streets, in protests, on social media, around dinner tables, and in headlines. Wherever you look, it's hard not to see the deep divisions in our country. Along party lines, to be sure, but also along racial, socioeconomic, gender, geographic, and religious lines as well. With only a few weeks until a very contentious election, those divisions in our country are on full display. That's the world you're entering today as new graduates. A global pandemic, a national movement for civil rights, and a divisive presidential election. So while it may seem daunting and uncertain, it's up to each of you to rise to the challenge of this moment. For those of you who've landed a job, congratulations. Others might not have the job you envisioned. But wherever you are today, consider that it's exactly where you should be right now. Plans are great, but then something happens that makes us throw out our plan. It goes out the window, or at least we have to rewrite it a bit. And in my experience, those moments, and I call them detours, are often incredible opportunities in disguise. It was 35 years ago. I was sitting at my law school commencement, excited for my next adventure. But the U.S. economy was still shaking off the hangover of high inflation, high unemployment, and there was a Cold War raging. Life seemed anything but certain. When I landed a job at a small law firm in Indianapolis, I thought I would be a criminal defense attorney for life. But 12 years into my career, I got the opportunity to lead public safety efforts for the mayor of Indianapolis, Steve Goldsmith. It was my first introduction to public service, and I loved it. I needed to revisit my plan. That detour, which was just 2 years on my resume, changed my career trajectory dramatically. Thanks to it, some pretty other incredible detours, and the friends I made along the way, I'm talking to you today, preparing for my upcoming retirement after 8 years in Congress. My point is twofold. First, your degree is valuable beyond measure. Be open to going through all the doors to which your degree gives you entrance. Secondly, but especially in a mixed job market, don't be limited by geography. Now, if you walk downtown, you'll find Anderson University alumni behind many of the storefronts here in Anderson. Jackrabbit Coffee, as one example, and your own PJP returned to Anderson after his long, illustrious career in public service at both the FBI under President Bush and leading TSA under President Obama. I understand the allure of the big city. Don't get me wrong, and my big city move led me to a successful career that I'm proud of, but I urge you to also consider jobs and careers in our small and medium-sized towns. Often the opportunities to make a difference are greater when you're a bigger fish in a smaller pond. So there's my first piece of advice. Have a plan, but don't be afraid of life's detours. Sometimes they lead you to the most interesting places. Not that the world isn't interesting enough on its own, which brings me to my second piece of advice, which has to do with how you approach the detours you do decide to take. When I was elected to Congress, Representative Mike Rogers of Michigan was preparing to retire, and he wanted someone to take up his work on biodefense. Biodefense is our national preparedness for chemical and biological weapons, as well as public health and natural disasters like pandemics. As the new chair of the Homeland Security Subcommittee on Emergency Response and Preparedness, he asked me if I might be interested. I'd found my next detour, and like any good student about to embark on a new course of study, it was time for me to crack the books. So I started to read, to listen, to ask questions, to meet the experts, and so did my staff. Together, we set out to learn as much as we could about our strategic national stockpile of vaccines and supplies, our surveillance system to identify threats, and our preparedness efforts for chemical and biological. The Pandemic All-Hazard Preparedness Act came up for reauthorization several years later. I led the House effort to pass and sign that bill into law. And today, that law is working to help protect us in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. I couldn't be prouder of that work and of my team, because today the law we wrote is working to help people who are developing potentially life-saving vaccines and other pathogens that threaten the health of our nation. So without those long days and nights spent learning an entirely new, complicated area of public policy, I would not have been a part of it. So my second piece of advice is to stay curious and don't stop at "I don't know." Not only will this help you make the most of every detour you decide to take, it'll serve you well in life. If you've learned nothing from this pandemic, it's that you can do practically anything, whether it's party crashing on a Zoom conference call or the other platforms we're using. It's not the only way that technology has and continues to change the way we do things. I remember my first computer, my first fax machine, and it seems like I'm adding apps to my phone every day. In your lifetime, I think you'll see self-driving vehicles in your driveway and the continued expansion of connected devices that, yes, make our lives easier, but they may not be so easy to learn at first. So embrace the opportunity to learn. If you don't know, decide to find out, because this world is moving fast and it's only going to move faster. So it's up to you to do the homework to keep up. So stay curious. And if you do keep up, you'll reap the benefits that these technologies give us, especially now when it's hard to connect with anyone. I'm so grateful for all the ways I stayed connected to my own kids who live in Alaska and Colorado, to my friends who are spread out across the country, and to you on this special day. When I decided to run for Congress in 2012, no Republican woman had held public office in Congress for more than 50 years. And there were 7 other people running in the primary that year in my district. In that crowded field, I needed all the help I could get. And luckily, my best friends from college, who lived all across the country, were there to pitch in. They made phone calls to support my campaign. They even flew in for the last 2 weeks to help me pound the pavement. They treated it as a mini college reunion. I won that primary by 1,010 votes. And I'll never forget having them by my side for that moment. Which brings me to my third piece of advice. Return phone calls or emails or texts and show up in person when it matters. I hope that the last couple of months have helped you practice these skills with your friends from Anderson University, and that you establish your own ways to keep those connections alive. Because wherever life takes you, it's the people you surround yourself with that will help and support you as you pick your detours, as you learn new lessons, and when you celebrate your big moments. Which brings me to my final piece of advice. Practice gratitude. Make it a part of your routine, just like brushing your teeth. I'm probably not the first person to tell you to say thank you. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 through 18 tell us, "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." Gratitude isn't just manners, it's a matter of faith. Like any lesson, it's hard to do at first, but then it becomes second nature. There's no one best way to say thank you. You need to find the way that works best for you. A handwritten note, a thoughtful text, a a phone call. They can each be a meaningful way to express gratitude. Especially as you begin your professional life, gratitude will go a long way. When you get that new job, thank the boss you're leaving by telling them how they helped you grab that next opportunity. Do this every time you get a promotion or a raise. Go back to the people who helped you get there from every stage and say thank you. Starting with today, with your parents and all the other people who helped you build this strong foundation. So there you have it. My advice for how to navigate the next curveball life throws your way. Have a plan for your life, but don't be afraid of detours that may come along. Stay curious. Don't stop at I don't know. Find out. Return your phone calls and make the effort to show up in person for the big moments. And make gratitude a practice. Now it's time for me to follow my own vice and to say thank you. Thank you for listening, and to President Pistol and the leaders at Anderson University for the honor of this degree. Wherever you're watching and whomever you're watching with, I hope that you're celebrating this achievement and making plans for a party when you can gather without worrying about keeping that 6-foot distance from the people who've helped you get to this moment. Congratulations, graduates, and enjoy life's many detours. I know I have. May God continue to bless and keep you and the people you love and surround you. May He spread His blessings on this great school and throughout our community, and especially in these difficult days. May God bless the United States of America.
Member of Congress sharing with us today, as she was originally scheduled to back in May, just as all of you were scheduled to be here all in May. So, Dr. Morris.
President Pistol, as Provost, it is with great pleasure today that I present to you these individuals who, upon satisfactorily completing the requirements established by the faculty, are entitled to have such degrees conferred upon them.
By the authority vested in me by the state of Indiana and the Board of Trustees of Anderson University, and upon recommendation of the Provost and in accord with the requirements established by the faculty of AU, I hereby authorize the conferral of these degrees, which you've already received, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of the degree. Graduates, even though it's October, not May, you may now move your tassels from the right to the left, symbolizing your conferred degree. And congratulations.
We will now be announcing the graduates of the class of 2020. I would like to note that graduates previously received their diplomas in the mail, so there will be no exchange of diplomas today. Graduates will cross in front of my podium and stand on the X to the left of my podium as their name is read. They will then proceed across the stage to the next X just to the right of President Pistol, where they will pose with the photo as the President holds the degree cover. Vanna. Graduates are asked to leave their masks on and to avoid touching. Also, in the interest of equity, brevity of program, and so that all names may be clearly heard, even through these masks, please withhold spontaneous expressions of joy and perhaps relief until such time as Dr. Schrock invites all those expressions. And I will read about the first half of the names, and Dr. Schrock will read the second half of the names. Over here. Mark Allen Martin. Just lay it there. Right there. Lisa Marie Garrett, Academic Honors. Rosanna White. Jason Douglas Hart. Connor Todd. Joshua Clemens. Micah Austin. Bradley David Rothar. Allison Marie Newman. Hannah Marie Helton. Charles Eugene Keith III. Heather Renee Felis, magna cum laude. Ashley Allison, honors program, summa cum laude. Victoria Miller. Hannah Marie McClure Richards. Emma Ray Mobaugh. Love the mask. Amber Rochelle Lofton. Keith Weitzel. Benjamin Elliott. Sarah Marie Clenny. Adam Scott Mertzlack. Kenneth Parson. Trayvon McCall. Alfonso Thomas Blackwell III. Emily Kelly Blackwell. Michaela Dornfeld. Sarah Elizabeth Rosie, honors program, honors in visual communication design, magna cum laude. Laura Olivia Schweikert, honors program, magna cum laude. Cade Thomas Hutchinson. Wyatt Altoff, honors program, honors in accounting, honors in finance, cum laude. Maggie Altoff, honors in nursing, summa cum laude. Jordan Strawn. Lindsay Marie Fogel. Mallory K. Mellinger. Ashley Elizabeth Fritz. Sarah Grace Drake. Hannah Pearl Stevens. Jennifer Ann Caves. Bailey Sue Dornbush, magna cum laude. Bailey Jade Skagehill. Kelly Mueller, honors in nursing, summa cum laude. DeAndrea Allen. Betsy Kate Baelish. Courtney Marie Mayer. Emily Stout, honors program, honors in athletic training, summa cum laude.
Sabrina Danielle Morrison, magna cum laude. Hannah Keller. Rebecca May Napier, summa cum laude. Nicole Helen Campbell, cum laude. Sarah Grace Colmetz, cum laude. Prudencio Rodriguez III. Vanessa Schult, cum laude. Benjamin Craig Truitt. Casey Morgan Bell. J. Donovan Bembry, honors program, cum laude. Kennedy Waters. Mariah Murray. Shayla Z. Davis. Nathan Kyle Hayes. Lillian Mary Morrison, honors in athletic training, summa cum laude. Cassandra Sanchez. Isabel Maureen Thomas, cum laude. Natalie Bell Shields, cum laude. London Willow Mason Rouse, summa cum laude. Taylor Brooks, honors program, honors in dance, honors in psychology, summa cum laude. Audrey Marie Nordhoff. Alexis Madden, cum laude. Rochelle Kathleen Zool, cum laude. Isaiah Lockhart. Taylor Addis Lawson. Malik Lafoon. Jose Espinoza Miranda. Michael Hudson Shimanula. Caleb Byers. Nolan Ray Armstrong. Claire Elizabeth Gable, cum laude. Chandler James Mudd, honors program, cum laude. Bailey Dawn Wilson, honors in elementary education, summa cum laude. Julianne Gilpin, magna cum laude. Davis Peterson, summa cum laude. Bryce Thompson. Jolene Elizabeth Miller. Ryan Olivia Haler. Ellen Doss, honors in biology, summa cum laude. Shelby Cornelson. Blakely Diane Steeb, summa cum laude. Aaron Smith, cum laude. Sarah Jean Arnold. Annabeth Butler, honors in English, magna cum laude. Julie Lynn Biaggi, cum laude. Mackenzie Folks, musical theater, summa cum laude. Elijah Neal. Alicia Rose Adams, magna cum laude. Emma Haupt, magna cum laude. Whitney Danielle Hainline. Morgan Binkard, cum laude. Marissa Claire Holstein, magna cum laude. Matthew Gordon. Melissa Deanne Denny. Abigail Simon, summa cum laude. Ian Edward Leatherman, honors program, magna cum laude. Benjamin Leatherman. Amy Leatherman, summa cum laude. June Kim, summa cum laude. Marissa Perkins, honors program, summa cum laude. Ryan Douglas Perkins. Victoria Doty. Excuse me. Teresa Lynn Gianna Robertson. Grace Schuyler Culver, cum laude. Tori Robinson. Michaela McCurdy, honors program, honors in Spanish, summa cum laude. Jacob Beisel. Brian Mitchell. Alexander Harold Certain. Olivia Dudley Certain, magna cum laude. Josiah Thomas Sled. Ryan Stuthers. Hadley Decker, magna cum laude. Braden Michael Kroll. Troyer Manning Goldman. Colby Dennis. Amelia Freeman, cum laude. Kayla Meyer, cum laude. Brenna Renee Green, summa cum laude. Candace Hope Cox. Keegan Thomas Sweeney. Casey Marcus Miller Valencia. Noah Allen Keller. Nicholas Martin, Honors in Accounting, Honors in Finance, magna cum laude. Lauren Brooke Dubois. Mary Mabel Ann Watts. Tara Morey, Honors in Exercise Science, magna cum laude. Please join me in acknowledging the accomplishments of these graduates.
All right. Way to go, Raven. You did it. Yeah, you did. I mean, you showed up for 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it was. But you did it. You persevered. You got it done. You got the degree. And now you're an alum. And so to hear a little bit more about what it means to be an AU alum, please help me welcome Trent Palmer, Director of Alumni Relations.
Hello, grads. My name is Trent Palmer, Director of Alumni Relations. I'm here to give you a warm welcome into the Alumni Network. First off, a big congratulations to you today. Your story as an AU student has concluded, but once a Raven, always a Raven. We're excited to see you spread your wings and enter this new chapter ready for a life of faith and service to the church and society. Although you won't be walking through the valley every day, know that this will always be your home. You are now a part of a network of more than 35,000 AU alumni. As you move on, know that these fellow Ravens can be found in every corner of the globe, cheering you on and eager to help you acclimate to new regions, network with for job possibilities, or just reminisce about the good old days of AU. Our shared experiences on these hallowed grounds are binding. One of the best parts of my job is discovering what our alumni are up to. Accountants to zoologists, actors to Zumba instructors, and as you can imagine, everything in between. I had coffee one morning with a professional wrestler and a financial advisor, both alumni of Anderson University, both with stories to tell about how this place helped them discover who they were meant to be. As you go on to do great things, know that this campus will always be a home for you. Let us know where you're at, what you're doing. We want to celebrate with you and cheer you on with life's twists and turns. And of course, I hope to see you at alumni events and gatherings that we'll have throughout the year to connect, network, and fellowship. Yes, today is worth celebrating, and no doubt you're excited for what the future holds. We're excited for you and are praying for you as God undoubtedly has great plans for the class of 2020. Life is saved only by dedication to something larger than itself. The purpose of life is to spend it for something that will outlast it. These are the iconic words of our first president, John Morrison. Your legacy has been stamped on this campus. You have been a gift to us. Now it is your time to be a gift to the rest of the world. We're looking forward to seeing you in this next phase, dedicating your life to something that indeed will outlast it. And to that end, for the ones who've gone before,
So for those of you who haven't been to a home basketball or football game where you've heard Trent almost shout those words, "Soar, Raven, soar," through the loudspeakers, a little bit different here, but yeah, that was good. And I was actually glad to hear that the alums that he met with, the professional wrestler and the financial planner, wasn't the same person. I thought that's what he was going to say. So, okay, do this one. So we're now to the point of humming. We oftentimes would sing our alma mater, but we've got the first verse, and if you want to hum along, with our current AU student, Hannah Knopp, accompanied by Rebecca Eady, and then we'll be joined by Dr. Mary Ann Hawkins, Dean of our School of Theology and Christian Ministry, for a closing prayer, a benediction, and then an announcement. So please join in humming the alma mater.
Join me in prayer. God of grace and glory, we give thanks for your promise of presence. We know that you have been here today. Our gratitude for this opportunity to gather and celebrate our graduates absolutely overflows. So we ask that you receive our praise and our thanksgiving that have been by your grace. In the fellowship of the Holy Spirit and the peace of Jesus Christ, your Son. Amen. Please remain in your places until the platform party exits. Then you're dismissed to remain socially distanced to protect us all.